I'm Duane Brumitt. He's Allie Alberigo, and this is the School Owner Talk podcast. Hello, Duane Brumitt here with Allie Alberigo, schoolownertalk.com. Allie, wonderful to be on the call with you today. And this is probably a better continuance of our whole AI talk that we did last week. We got a special guest on, and we both know him, but you actually introduced me to him. So I'd like, if you wouldn't mind, let our listeners know who we're talking to, and then we'll hop right into the whole AI business.
Yeah, we met. God, I'm trying to think of just how many years ago that we met. It's got to be, probably 15,
something like that.
Maybe around that long, maybe more. But I know that we met just chatting on the internet, right?
No, it was through SIOC guys.
Oh, that's right. Well, we started chatting through Facebook, and then we had that connection where you trained in SIOC and I trained in SIOC, Cali, and then we've gotten together. We actually did an event in Florida at one point, right? Then I came out and visited your school. You took me out to this amazing I still to this day talk about this vegan Chinese restaurant where
Harmony, I think it's called in Philly. I don't know if it's still there.
Yeah, every food that they made in Chinese food was made vegan. I just couldn't believe it because it was like duck and chicken, this and that. And I'm like, is this really vegan? Like, it was delicious, right? But it was good. And then and we've always chatted. You're really great at keeping people connected. But let me introduce you. So your name on Facebook, or your name is James Bret Dunlap. You go by Brett. Right. So a lot of times people confuse me. They're like, we're going to talk to James today. And I'm like, James who? Brett. And here's a funny story, Duane. The other day, Brett's mentioning, the guests. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll check and see if we could have you on as a guest. And he's like, no, I am your guest. I'm like, great. So it's good to have you here. I know you're always been great with technology, and you're always on top of the curve when it comes to crafting software to work for your company, for your school, to make it easy for on your life and so on. So exciting to have you here today. So let's jump right in. How do you want to start, Duane?
Do you want me to talk?
Yeah, go right ahead. Yeah, Brett, hit it.
Well, I'll give the industry a quick background. I've been around for forever. With the EFC guys and what do you call it? I forget the other companies, but like us all, man, we were here through the technology implementation, but it was always like a karate guy that learned how to do some programming. Then they got into this, and then it turned into like a soup, and then you didn't like the software and you tried to jump out. Next thing you know, you couldn't get your contacts or your credit cards. I just got fed up. And so I always was like, I think I can figure some of this stuff out myself. And I took a couple courses on Vimeo or whatever, and understood coding and stuff. And then what I found out is that everything has changed to modularization, so to speak, or apps. And hence Zapier came in, and then you could connect things. And so I wasn't beholden to any one company anymore, whereas everybody tries to do this all-in-one kind of suite. And don't get me wrong, I love what they've done, especially with Spark and when Rainmaker came out. But for myself, if I didn't like something, I couldn't get it to do it the way I wanted to do it. So I kind of opted out of the whole thing and started figuring out things on my own. And I even built my own school database and all that, but with free tools. So anyway, AI comes onto the scene, and I'm like, hey, will it help me code? I've been coding with it since the very onset. It'll literally write code for you. And yes, it's not perfect, but once you have your environment set up, which again, AI, you can tell it to treat you like you're in the third grade, and you go, I don't understand. How do I set up a development server on my computer? It'll go, okay, Johnny, just like you take an apple, you're going to go to this website and you're going to download this. Next thing you know, you have a whole development thing on your computer. Where I see this technology going is I think school's going to drastically change. I think you're going to need to understand reading, writing, and arithmetic, but this nonsense of having to have this memorization is gone.
Mm.
You're going to need to know up until about 10th grade sentence structure, how it works, but it's going to be how do you find the information and prompt things properly so that you can get the information. My school's in a very affluent area. I have nothing but C-suite executives for parents. And one of them the other day, he owns a technology company, and I look at him, he's like, oh man, I totally forgot I have to do a presentation tomorrow. He literally opened up his presentation software and it has AI in it. And he goes, I have to give a speech on these things, threw it in there. It did the whole presentation for him. So no longer do you have to go to PowerPoint and go, how do I get an image to twist? How do I get this to come in? It does it for you. He goes, all I'm doing is swapping out slides. And
Yeah.
then if I get caught up, I go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I want this one to look this way. How do I do it? And it'll literally walk you through step by step how to do it. Some other AIs are a little bit better with real-time information like Perplexity. I do that now, even because I also do some consulting on the side. If I have to talk to an executive specifically, or I coach guys on how to get a job, I go get into Perplexity, find every bit of information you can for the staff, put their name in, and tell Perplexity to find them. Next
Right.
thing you know, you're going into an interview knowing where this guy went to school, who he is, and talk about rapport building is like overnight because you've already read up on the guy. You're not going in raw. And Perplexity is really good because it does search the web and get you information. In fact, a buddy of mine has a lab company and he wanted to partner with another guy. I was able to find the guy's email. And I'm like, here you go, man. And he's like, oh my God, I've been trying for 6 months to find it. So even searching on the web, there's not this, when I would try to figure out code, it would be page after page of, nope, that's not what I'm looking for, or that didn't work. And then I would try it and it wouldn't, none of that, it's gone.
Yeah.
Um,
We've used that a little bit on our website development. So like if we're looking to do like a information form or whatever it is, and we want it to have certain actions that it'll take, we just put it in and figured it out, and it gives you the code, and you
Right.
see how it works and tweak it a little and tell it what to tweak, and it's quite amazing. It's pretty scary in a way too,
It-
like how
yeah,
easy it is.
there's a lot of stuff with that. And how do I say this? There's good sides to it and bad sides to it, but it's all about prompting. And
Right.
kind of one of the first things I tell everybody to do when they get a Chat GPT account. There's
Hmm.
also OpenAI where you can build stuff in there that you can link to. But the objective first is to play, 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 play. Put it on your phone and talk to it. I can literally talk to it. Now you're using what they call the raw or their setup for the language model. But and Duane and I chatted about this because we're both Christians. We pray, but what I did is I prompted AI to help me craft a prayer. But you can upload whatever documents you want and it'll look at it. So, for example, in the martial art industry, you could put all your requirements in AI.
Yeah.
And then you could put in like your last 2 months of what you've taught that month. And then you tell it, you go, hey, I'm feel like I keep repeating the same drills over and over again. Can you help me craft a better weekly schedule? And you'll go, oh my God, I haven't taught that in forever.
Right.
And next thing you know, you now have an assistant that you don't have to, do the spreadsheet and go, I need, 52 weeks or however many weeks. And, these are the things. No, it's just boom, it's out there
Right.
and you can do it on the fly. So you
Yeah.
could literally revamp your curriculum or, like somebody came up with these like warm-ups that were like based on animals.
Right.
You could go, hey man, I really like that. Get a PDF of it, throw it in there and go, help me incorporate that into my warm-ups.
Mm.
And then you go, I'm dealing with 3.5-year-olds or whatever. Boom. Next thing you know, it's helping you. And also, which you a lot of guys don't know is, you know how it almost comes off a little too formal, and then
Yeah.
you kind of tell it, hey, I want you to use more colloquial language. You can even do a demographic search on your area for the education of your general client base. And then you go use language that would be familiar to these people.
Right.
Boom, it tweaks it for you. Now you can even go one level up and say, hey, I've written like 10 letters, or you go into your Facebook and see how you chat. Take that and say, this is how I talk. Can you model that? Make
Yeah.
it sound exactly like me. Next thing you know, everything that you put out sounds more like you.
That's funny. My wife works for a trade and patent law firm, and she said that her boss always gets in trouble. He's Egyptian, I think, so he lives
Right.
in the U.S. forever, but he's got a very European direct way of speaking, and a lot of people get offended by it because he's so direct. So now he puts his stuff into Chat GPT and says,
Make it,
rewrite my letters, and it does in a softer note. So my wife's like, this wasn't written by him, but it's so much better,
right.
so it does a lot for you. It's incredible.
Do you want me to share and actually show everybody how to actually build their own thing?
Yes,
It take
I
like
would
two
want to
minutes.
do it as I'm learning, so
All right,
that
all
would
right.
be great.
Why don't we do this? So I'll share. So I have to request it.
Yep. There you go.
All right, cool. And I'll use this main screen.
Boy, those people behind you are working hard, man. That's all I got to say.
I know you like that.
Yeah.
All right. Can you guys see my chat screen?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right. All right.
it's a
So
little small.
let me see. I don't know how to get it bigger. It should be my whole screen. Let me see.
But I think it's maybe because my screen is reduced because of
That's right. Are you on a Mac or are you on a PC?
I'm on a PC.
Okay. Um, see in your web browser right there, see
Yeah.
the plus sign? Just hit that plus sign. See that little magnifying glass with the plus in your URL right next to the star. Go up to the URL.
Oh,
See
oh,
that?
oh. Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
Is
Now
that
you can
better?
make, yep.
oh yeah, much
All right,
better.
all right. So we're in ChatGPT right now, right? If you notice here on the side here, it says explore GTPs. I highly recommend this. Like, go in and like find ones that help you. For example, today I was just trying one out. This one actually helps correct code. And I know, Duane, you used to build your own websites.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to do HTML in there. You literally can, even after you come up with one, because especially when you're developing, you'll tweak stuff, but it turns into a mess because you've changed it so much. You could literally drop it in and say, hey, can you clean this up for me?
Right.
Wow.
What I've also done is you can put code in there that you don't understand and say, put comments in here for everything and treat me like I'm in the third grade and explain it to me. So now it's also teaching you. But anyway, let me see if I can. I'll go up to here, ChatGPT, and then, sorry. All right, you see where it says my GPTs?
Yep. And this is under Explore GPTs, just so the listeners can
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
understand.
Can you see my mouse?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
see where it says explore GPTs? You go in there and it says my GPTs, and I figured this one out like a couple of weeks ago. But if I hit my GPTs, I've created these for myself, and one is a prompt creator. And so basically, I've told it to be a prompt expert. So if I go in here to edit, configure, and let me explain something to you. After an extensive conversation with regular ChatGPT, it likes JSON format. I don't know JSON format. If I had to look at it, I could figure out what's going on, but I can't write it. It made that for me. So what I did is I went into a prompt that I liked and I said, can you convert this to JSON because I know you like it? Optimize it for readability for AI. It put it into this language. So you see how it's got like curly brackets and all that stuff?
Right.
And another thing that I always suggest to people is go into Facebook and join as many prompting groups and stuff like that, or anybody in the tech industry, and just hang out. You get great ideas. Like, let's say you have a prompt that's working, it gets confused after a while because it's retaining all that in what they call a thread. And sometimes if you keep using it, it gets kind of like gives you bad answers. You can then tell it, create a prompt with all my edits, corrections, and stuff like that so that I can do a similar conversation. Then you just go in and prompt GPT again and say, take on this role. Does
So
that,
you create a new thread. It's almost like you're going to
but
get rid of one. Create
but
another.
not, no, no, not even a thread. It's creating a prompt that will deal with the stuff that you've corrected. Like if you tell it, hey, make it more colloquial language, it'll retain that in a prompt for you, so you don't have to prompt it again when you create the new one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, what I did is I went in here, and if you notice, um, I have files uploaded over here because it says knowledge base. All you have to do is click code interpreter, and it can read all these things. So I'm going to show you this one here because I think I have it in this one. I just have to edit it. Yes. Okay. So if you see these books here, this one, you guys follow Alex Hormuz.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's created a bunch of stuff, and you can easily find PDFs of his book. So
Okay.
let's say you want an email um, sequence, but you want to utilize what he's mentioned in the book. Go download his PDF, put it in here, and you tell it to model it. So now it's not just looking on the web to try to find a few things. It's got the information sitting here. And now it referenced these documents when you're talking to it. So even when you're coming up with the content for the email, when you then tell it, hey, I need let me see, I'll go back. It might not work, but stay quiet for 1 second because I'm going to tell it what to do. Create a 5 email sequence for a martial arts school after somebody opts in. Use your uploaded data to help create to craft the emails. Let's see what it does. So see right there, it said searching knowledge base. Boom. Now it's creating better emails, and then I can go in and adjust these. I say, hey, I don't like that one. Make it, more colloquial language. It's too formal. Don't use, emojis. But, and kind of what we were talking about is you could literally do the same thing with your whole curriculum. So I would just go to here to create instead. Don't worry about that part. And it gives you like a testing environment so that you can start asking it questions. And now you can upload an image to it, and you've always got these at hand. You could do it for employee timesheets, like, hey, I have this much staff. These are my open slots. Can you help me set up a better schedule for my guys? Or you could take the data for your attendance maybe and say, hey, where are my weak places? And it would, give you, it would crunch the numbers for you in a better way. And then you would just prompt it better. So like I have a super prompt creator here, but what I have, I use Go High Level to do a lot of back end stuff.
Yeah.
I could create a prompt to, but for example, let me see, I'll bring this up. So for example, I'm assuming Spark has a similar way of doing um, automations.
Yes.
All right. So I didn't know squat about how to do this. And I said, how do I set this up to do an interactive, uh, I, like you guys, I'm answering the same 7 freaking questions over and over.
Yes.
But the challenge with stagnant emails, the first email's fine. Um, Let me see. I could even probably do it in real time for you. Let me see here. I'll clear this one out. Oh, and do you guys know about Google Voice?
Yeah.
All right. Google Voice, if you set it up, you can make this one of your um, test areas so that you're not wasting text on your phone. So what I do is I have a texting thing to set up. So if I go into this client, um, just let me clean this. Delete. And I know I'm probably going over a lot of people's heads, but um, this is just go high level. And kind of back to my original point is like what I didn't like about softwares where you have companies that are dedicated specifically to nurturing leads. And what irritated me by a lot of these companies is they were answering their clients' questions, but they're not in the tech field. So you get locked into a software by guys that aren't in the latest um, nurturing lead industry. So they're always like 5, 6 steps behind. So then I utilize Go High Level because it's kind of like one of the top ones in the industry. Everybody uses it. So anyway, that's why I use it versus another company's um, thing. And let me see, I'll just refresh this. And so this is blank, everything's blank. And then I'm just going to fire it off here for everybody here. So I don't think I jacked it up. I was doing some work in it today. So hopefully GPT isn't having a down day because sometimes what happens is, it gets in a little bit of trouble. So this should work. So if you see in my software, it just sent
Yep.
out this email. And the cool part is you can tell it's becoming an expert in whatever software you have. And if there's data out there, it'll
You
do it.
said email. Do you mean text message?
Yeah, text, sorry.
Okay.
So basically, this is my initial greeting. So when you get a lead come in, boom, they want to talk to somebody. And they know when they're getting stagnant emails, they're not really interacting with you. So that I could go, I'm ignoring the initial thing and I'll even spell it bad. So I ignored the initial question and now it's within in Go High Level. It actually has a thing to actually communicate directly with ChatGPT. So I actually put the prompt specifically in there. Hopefully, sometimes there's a little lag because I've been messing with it. So it's telling me exactly where we're located, and I can be like, uh, and I put it in there that people might use abbreviations or spell wrong. So, whoop, crap, sorry. Uh, I think I saved that one. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, not to nerd out on you guys.
But basically, you created the prompts for the questions and then the answers to those questions.
To some extent. So what a lot of people think is, and this is our instructor is Mr. D. He's teaching very traditional karate, but with more of a modern approach. All right. Um, I altered the GPT, but um, uh, what it normally does is it um, will, how do I say this? I have it then to qualify the people I just don't have it running right now because I was messing with it earlier. But I also have it that whatever they ask, it starts to qualify them and says, would you like to see the class schedule and the pricing? For me, I'm in an affluent area. I give them it right off the bat, because if you can't make the schedule and if you aren't comfortable with about the price, I don't give it 100%. Why am I talking to you? You're wasting my time. So you get a lead and you're calling these people up. And what's the first question they ask? How much?
Right.
Executives want to know exactly right now, because if it doesn't fit my schedule and if it doesn't work, I can't do anything for you in the first place. So my prompt, which again, I altered so it's not working 100% right now, it'll go through that. And then within my software, it's branching off and going, was the initial message given? I even have it set up so that if at the end of every question, let's say they ask for price, hopefully maybe that'll work in this right now.
So you just typed in what is the cost. I just want the listeners to be able to understand as well.
Yeah, just and spelled it completely.
Yeah, what is TH cost?
Yeah. Well, and you tell the prompt to do that, because how many people are on their phone maybe spell something wrong? And the problem with previous chatbots, it's not doing it the way I want. After that, I have another message that goes, does this work in your budget? And then if they go, yeah, this one, hopefully it'll jump over to the next one. And then that one should work. It'll record it. I have another AI looking for that response. So it's looking at the conversation, and then it's going to say, hey, this was an affirmative on the price. Great. Would you like to see, now it's gone to the next one. Would you like to? Sure. And you're telling it also to combine answers, and hopefully it's not going to embarrass me and it'll do it.
Now you just typed in sure and what's the number?
Yeah.
What do you mean by what's the number?
Phone number. But that's how people text. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. That's a normal texting kind of conversation. It's not necessarily grammatically correct. Yeah. And then see how it's prompting it. Shall we go over the available class times? And then what I did is I also put in that variations of this, so that it won't answer the exact same.
Right. You're not saying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So that's all well and good.
Yep.
How many school owners would even feel comfortable diving in that deep? But
I get
I'm sure that there are a ton of school owners that are like, yes, that's really cool. I would like to be able to, like you, be in control of all of it.
Right.
What would be, so for those individuals first, what would be their first steps?
I would 100%.
I'm assuming they're already in ChatGPT, kind of playing around with it. And then the second question would be for those that aren't, they don't want to do it all themselves. What are the steps after that?
If you don't want to do it yourself, then you actually have to hire somebody to do it for you, or task, a 19-year-old to get into it, and you let them sit at a computer all day long. And that would be the financial easy way out. But
well, I know that Gus Lopez with Lead Hunter Media has a front end like that, and does it. It's all built out, for school owners, and or he's got a course coming out too, because we just interviewed him on how to actually build it yourself too.
Right.
Now, I'm actually doing a podcast with him coming up, I think next week or the week after.
Yeah.
But those that want to dive in themselves, Brett, what do you suggest?
100%. I always say, like, see what documentation you can get for the software that you're presently already in, and make sure they have a lot of resources. And one of my sort of pet peeves kind of thing is, a lot of these companies aren't integrated with Zapier as well as they should, and or make.com. So make.com blows Zapier out of the water.
I never heard
Um,
of that. I use Zapier actually.
yeah, Zapier A is expensive, and make.com you can get an account for free and use it, and also like it's really cheap. But it really, really allows you like a ton of flexibility. Let me see.
I will check that out because I actually use the free version of Zapier just because I'll tell my Amazon machine. I don't want to say the name because it'll light up right now. But and then I'll just say add this to my shopping list, and then it sends it to puts it into Zapier, and then or goes into to-do list, whatever it does. I set it all up, but I use it. That's one way that I use it.
Right. So here,
Yeah.
I'll
So
share it.
here's the thing. I'm so like I at about maybe like 3/4 of the way in, my brain just
Yeah, we
shut
lost
down.
that.
Smoked. And
Yeah,
you know I talk a lot and I talk fast.
no. It's not even that. I think it's for most, and I'm just trying to give a school owner's perspective. There are some school owners like yourself and Duane, and even me to some extent, where I'll take the time to learn it and figure it out and start utilizing it right away. And then there are those that just hear it and all of a sudden it becomes white noise and their brain goes blank and they're like, okay, have someone do it for me, like hire
Right.
someone to do it for me, or have someone that I could pay that'll run this
Well,
for me in my school, that kind of thing.
this is why I'm kind of adamant about integration with the specifically like make.com. If your software isn't integrated fully, you're missing out on a whole world of things that you can pull in. And that's one of my sort of pet peeves with a lot of the industry software. They utilize it themselves, but they haven't gone to the next level and put in like API stuff and then
Right.
integrated it with like make.com.
Hmm.
And so, for example, this is make.com, and let me see, do I have one? So, for example, um, I use ChatGPT and Google Sheets and Google Presentation to make my posts for my Facebook page for my school. Um, I have it automated, so every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, it gets posted. I don't know if I have it up.
Yeah, I find it interesting. I started, we did the podcast with Gus and Duane, and they were joking around with me about how I had no idea what Chat GPT was. I've heard of it and seen it. In my head, I'm like, you know what? I'll eventually get around to doing it, but I don't have the energy right now. But anyway, I've been playing with it, and it is freaking amazing. It's just
Yeah,
like, I wrote out a lesson plan for my leadership team, and I just basically spelled it out and said I need a
right,
four-week lesson plan, and I want it to be based on this topic, empathy and compassion.
right.
And it took me a few tweaks where it finally got to be where I wanted it to be. But man, it was just like spit it out in no time. And that's something that would have taken me 2, 3, maybe 5 hours to sort out on
Oh,
my own.
easily. So like I had always wanted to do something like this where I did like because I'm sort of a big quotes guy,
Yeah.
um, and I always wanted to like put up quotes, but having to use Photoshop or Canva, dude, it's time consuming. And if you're a solopreneur like most of us are, doing all that is a nightmare. Like you always intend to do it, but you never get around to it. So, for example, this is my school's web page. Every Wednesday, and Friday, this gets posted. Doesn't mean
That's
that
a
I don't
Facebook
post.
Facebook page.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that I don't post other stuff, but now the pressure to keep it relevant is a lot less because this is posted every Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Yeah.
and I even put in my closings and stuff like that. But I'm not doing it. Like my hands are up. I wake up in the morning and go, oh, I forgot that that's going on. You know?
Okay, so wait a second. These images are being created by Chat GPT.
Yeah. Um, All right, so I'll add another hack for you guys. If you go to everybody's got Microsoft products. You pay like $100 a year for, all their things. If you look in the upper right-hand corner here,
I run
um,
a Mac. I run a Mac.
communist stuff. I hate Macs. And again, that's why I didn't go to Mac. I don't have the flexibility. And the other issues are there are a heck of a lot more developers and coders out there and people in, say, Fiverr, which you've probably used,
Yep.
out there that can, for $15, create something for you. Whereas if you're using Mac, you don't have that flexibility. But anyway, like that little thing in the upper right hand, because you can still search the web and get on it, it's free. And this is where I work out my prompts. I need a kid who's
3 years old in
karate.
black
And
kid in
again,
book.
I don't care about
Okay.
spelling.
All right.
And for all those of you on PCs, um, Lily Speech is free. And when you're running, so there you go. It just created a free image for me. And then I just download it and I put it in. And so like how I made like,
You download it and put it in where?
all right, so I again I got irritated and I didn't want to have to use Photoshop or even another thing to create it. I used let me see. Forget. By the way, I do work for Gus in the back end. Um, so if you see anything there, so wait, that's my prompts. Let me see. Okay. So what I did is I went into ChatGPT and I said, I need to create images for Facebook posts. Then I went into GPT and I said, what's the best size for Facebook posts? And it gave me the, dimensions and whatever. Um, and then I used, I think, presentation, sorry, lobby cast posters, designs and presentation. So Google has free things like slideshows. And so what I did is I went in there and I dropped the images in that I liked for certain things, or um, there's a thing in there that I just hit called app script. It will create, I didn't create this. I went into GPT and I said, I need a script for an app function that will grab an image and throw it into the slide. And so then what I did is the images that I liked that I created over here, I downloaded them and I even played around with it for like holidays. And I said, create an image of a kid for Halloween between these ages. And, I tried to model my karate uniform. And I said, do one for Thanksgiving. And I just kept playing with the prompt, playing with the prompt. So even if I click this, it should, used to be able to click it and then it would come up. Anyway, it reuses the prompt that you just used for it. And so then I can tweak the prompt. Let's say I didn't like that. I wanted a blank background. Or I said, give him a blue belt, because obviously he's a black belt and that's irritating for us. I can keep playing with it until I get the image that I want for free. Like I'm not paying for it,
Sure.
And then what I did is after I would download it, I would put the date on that image. And then I went over to another spreadsheet and I put in all the dates and I said, find that date. Again, I didn't do the coding. I told GPT to create that function, find the date in this
Document.
spreadsheet, use that image for these, and it inserted them in. Then I said in that same thing, I said, give me, this is my words of the week or whatever. I said, give me 52 sayings that would coincide with all these. And then I just dropped that into the spreadsheet. Then I said, use that image and that verbiage for these slides. Boom. Then I went in again because I'm lazy. I said, I need to export each one of these as a JPEG, or a PNG. And I want you to put the date that's associated with them as its name. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then I told it to go into a folder. And if it ever asks you what the folder ID is, these are just here in the URL.
URL, yeah.
So for example, it just created these the other day completely. Take these dates. Every time a date pops up, insert that into my Facebook page. But it sounds way harder than it is. All you do is talk to GPT and it creates it for you.
Yeah, I will say that I understand the concept. I would need to action.
How do I say this? What AI is doing is, as long as you understand the concept, then you're good to go, because you can specify with AI to help walk you through that. All you have to do is say, I know Google Sheets has, Google has a presentation, free presentation thing. How do I change the size to match Facebook? And it'll go to File, Edit, change the size here. Then I had my initial one here, and I said, what I want you to do is duplicate that one here, but I want you to change the background picture, create a function for me. Then you go to the next step. I needed to pull an image from this folder. How do I do that? And it does the next step. Then within this extensions part, the scripts, it tells you, it says, drop this code in here and then hit run. Like, that's how easy it is. I'm not creating any of this. I'm
Right.
just
One thing though, let me add that as you say it's easy, it's not as easy as you make it sound, because your level of intellect is on this particular stuff is so much higher than the average person, right? So
no, I want to backtrack with that. It is no different than what we do every day as karate people,
yeah,
martial artists. It's understanding the basics of it and then saying, take me step by step.
So then let's do this, because I can't believe that we've almost done 45 minutes already, and we're almost out of time. So how about this? Give us 5, like if you were talking to white belt school owners that are white belts at ChatGPT, give us 5 steps to start on. Like, since you've done this, I've been playing around on the side, right, and I found a whole bunch of things that on my ChatGPT that I didn't even know.
Boom.
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
Yeah,
that's the number one.
But you prompted me on a few things, like go to this thing and do that. And now I'm like, wow, I didn't even know I had. So I started playing with logo creator, right? And I made like 3 or 4 different logos before it shut me down, because it's a free. I have to pay for the upgrade to get as many as I want. But I couldn't believe the amount of logos that it was just spitting out. It looked really cool. But so give us 5 basic steps for a school owner to start with. Like the first thing, and then the second thing.
The very first thing is obviously, and I won't even count this as the first thing, make sure you're on ChatGPT, right?
Okay, so ChatGPT, you could go
and pay the $24 a month, whatever.
Yeah, right? I think it's the free, but then there's a paid service or whatever too.
The reason that you want to do the paid is specifically because it doesn't time you out.
Right, exactly. And I did get timed out when I got to like my 4th logo, and then it's sorry for today, you've reached your limit.
Right. Well, basically it does that. The second thing is understanding prompting, and
right.
You just go into ChatGPT, and a prompt is basically take on this role. you're telling it to become an expert in X, Y, and Z.
So now when you're in your free section, right? Let's say you did the free like I did.
Yeah.
And in the top, you have a description bar, like a search bar, like you would in Google, and it asks you to type in whatever.
Yeah.
Where would you go to start getting the prompting done? Where's the next
That is
step?
that is the prompt. So
So
when you
that's
start
the
asking
prompt.
questions, you're gonna So look, chat. I know people are scared of AI, but AI is only good with is only as good as the questions that are being asked.
Right.
So he's talking about prompting. It is, the phrase I say over and over again, clear as kind.
I have it right on my wall, right in
Okay.
front of me.
So the questions that you ask it, those are prompts. You're prompting a response. And
Right.
then you can, when you get the response back, you can then prompt it
Tweak.
more by asking more specific questions or clarifying what you actually meant as
Right.
going through. So as you
Yeah,
see
so-
on
Yeah.
that
So
is
here,
very good prompt.
let me do one first. Let me see. Here, just take quiet for once. Become an expert in Spark software. It's meant for martial art industry school owners. Also, I want you to become a teacher that speaks to me as if I'm in the third grade.
Ah, interesting.
So see how it just updated its memory. How do I create a funnel? See how it's talking to me?
Yeah, I love that. So prompting basically is, in layman's terms or just basic wording, is explaining in detail deeper, like, and I had to tweak the prompt a few times after it spit it out. At the bottom it said, are you happy with the results, or something to that effect, and I said, no, I'd like to do this and this, and then I hit go again and return, and boom, it's adjusted it for that. And
Yeah.
it added to or deleted, like I said, don't use the word li ninja whatever, and I want you to say this, and it did. It automatically started speaking in that vernacular.
And so what I was saying before is, like, you just gave it another prompt after you read what it did and said, don't use this.
Right.
You can then say, create me a prompt with all of my corrections.
Ah,
Then you take that prompt and you put it in a text file, and that now clarifies better the next time you want to create a new GPT. It's going to
nice.
say, do this, don't do this.
Right.
So that
Right,
you're not
right, right.
repeating it, because sometimes you get in there and you're like, I thought I told you to do this. Well, it's
Right.
confused. It's got, like, God knows how long of a mess that you've just interacted with it.
Right. So you just got to be very clear. Duane's motto, clear is kind. Explain it out, and then it'll have a better. It's like talking to a 5-year-old, or sometimes in my school, 65-year-olds
Yeah, well,
that don't listen. Right?
well,
And students that don't know their right from their left.
Yeah.
but it's no different than, like, that employee that you're
Yes.
constantly saying, pick the phone up this way.
Right. Gotcha. So, what would be, so first step is get an account, free account.
Yeah.
Once you get used to it, possibly pay for the paid account, which is not expensive for the year. Third thing is start learning how to prompt and fill out, and start experimenting with things like, write me an article. Like, I couldn't believe it the other day. One of my clients for coaching said, how do I get my culture to change in the school with our students going to more tournaments?
Yes.
So I basically said, write me an article, 500 words or less, with 5 bullet points on why the martial arts tournaments are just as important as sports in school.
Well,
And it was
and then
amazing.
I would add to that. So there's psychological ways of conveying information. We all know that from advertising.
Right.
If you bold this font, or if you put something there, there's a thing called NLP, neuro linguistic
Yeah.
programming. We do it all the time. We do redirects, kids crying. You go, hey, do you see the bird? And he stops crying.
Yeah.
You can also tell it, become an expert in marketing vernacular proven by psychological studies.
Right.
Also, you're also an expert in NLP.
Yeah.
Now, take the content that you want and say, I need you to write me an article to update, my kids going to martial arts for moms in their 30s and 40s. You're
Right.
just giving it more deeper direction to
Yeah.
do this, and use this as an example of the way I speak, but use NLP in your output.
I love it.
It'll
I
give
love
you a
it.
completely different thing. And then what you can also do is, again, from a marketing standpoint, what they found is they've stopped doing subliminal messages in movie theaters because they found out it worked too well.
Yeah.
Back in the 40s and 50s, they do an eighth of a second shot of "You're hungry,"
Yep.
and
And
then when they did
popcorn.
intermission, everybody'd go eat.
Yep.
Then somebody found out that they were doing it.
Yeah. They made it
If,
illegal, right? It's illegal
right,
now.
yeah, if you in an advertising bold a font slightly, or put a font on an angle slightly, or use a little different font,
Right.
as that flashes by the person in their ad, they read those things subliminally really
Right.
fast.
Right.
Buy karate now.
Gotcha.
So you can even say, do me a favor, show me where I should do this via, NLP, that I can put this into my ad, or I
Nice.
can put this in my letter.
Cool.
Now you're going like, and
Levels up.
again, our industry is kind of lagging, is all that stuff is readily available out there.
Right. Right.
So you can even get your marketing really dialed in, and you can do test marketing with it.
Yeah.
Put out the two things and see how many
Yeah.
responses you got.
I love it. Okay, so then the next step is to practice with it and play with it,
Play
and
with it.
and tweak it. Get used to taking your prompts and be clearer. More concise. Explaining what you're looking to do, and
Right.
then the great news is once it does it, spits it out. You could just change it and say. You can also, like what I did with the logo before. I said, I don't like this logo. I'd rather it look like this.
Right.
And it said, okay. And then I uploaded my logo, and it actually took my logo and changed it into a new logo using it. And it said a more updated chrome, shiny looking thing. So,
Well, and
great.
and then like what I do is, in fact, I was doing it the other day. I was making a logo, and I tell it, give me a blank background, or a solid color background,
Right.
so that I can go into one of the free AI things that takes backgrounds out.
Yeah, yeah.
So now it's a PNG, and it's got nothing on either side of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I usually do that in Photoshop, and it takes me a while.
It takes you
So,
forever, and you forget it because you're
Yeah.
not in it all day long. And I had a discussion with one of the executives. I said, this is taking the marginalized people. Like, as you see, I don't type well, I don't spell well.
Yeah.
Well, that kept me from advancing in school. That's done.
Right.
It's done. Now,
Yeah.
because you've met these people that you're like, you're a certified genius. Why didn't you become a doctor? It's
Right.
because of the gap between needing to know this and my creativity.
Yeah.
Now, I just had one of my dads who's a biochemist, and he owns his own lab. His buddy was on the treadmill, and he just started talking an idea. He took the whole thing through. It got published in Nature.
It's amazing, right? All right. So then the last step, what would you say? Like all this other stuff might be too much for people at the moment. It would take a lot more to be able to grab pictures and put them into automations and timing. I know it's not as hard as it may seem in my
It
head
just
right now.
seems it, and I am no different than anyone else. When I get into a software, I don't know anything about it.
So what are 3 softwares that you would recommend they start off
100%
with?
make.com. Oh my
Make.
God. Yeah, make.com is so much better than Zapier and is so much more affordable.
That's for
It's-
forms.
No, that's for connecting.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
we
for
use
example,
Zapier for certain websites that we build that don't use Spark.
Yeah.
We use Zapier.
well,
for
and I was running into Zapier. Next thing I know, I look at my bill and it's like, hey, you're almost run out. I'm like, what the hell?
yeah. So
like-
make.com.
Yeah, make.com is far
Okay.
more advanced. And why I like that and the go high level is I can literally go onto Fiverr if I get stuck or I don't have time.
Yeah.
And there's a dude in India that's doing this, and I go, hey, do this for me. Boom.
Right. Now, what about the image portion that you were generating images? What software do you recommend for that?
See, again, a lot of these have limits on them. And
Right.
if you go into, like I just showed you, what the heck is it? Uh,
Microsoft.
Microsoft, what the heck is it? Whatever their web page is, they
Yeah.
give it to you for free.
Microsoft Edge.
Yeah, yeah. You
Oh,
can
yeah, yeah.
you can work out your prompt. You can do like they used to do like 30 in a row before you'd have to do a new session, but it didn't time you out. It just made you do a new session.
Okay.
And so
So,
you can dial in how you want that to, and now you've dialed in a prompt that whatever, because GPT also does Dahlia, you now have that and you can throw it in there. And that's how I have
yeah.
my automated images as well, is it's doing it in the background through GPT every time.
The reason why I was a little late to getting on this morning is because I when I got to my computer had reset because my stupid Microsoft's
Okay.
updated and deleted all my screens, and now I had to go back in and find out why. And Dwayne's like, "Where the hell are you?" And I'm like, "Don't, I'll be there in a minute," because it was just finally clearing up. But it downloaded Copilot from Microsoft
Yeah.
Copilot,
I
which,
don't use CodePilot directly. I use it in the web browser,
right,
just
but it was
because you have
pretty
to
interesting.
sign. Well, you have to sign in again,
Yeah,
and I'm running like, 3 screens, and
exactly.
from a guy that's doing this literally all day long, and
Yeah,
it's amazing. Once you get kind of up to speed on this, people come
right.
out of the woodwork for consulting that I don't
Yeah,
even. I'm like, I don't know, $200 to tell you how to do it. I have executives calling me, "Hey, how can I craft a better resume?"
right,
And then
right.
and then you go online and go, "What are the hacks?"
Yeah,
And it tells you, when you upload your PDF, which is a good one. When you upload your PDF, reprompt the prompt, because everybody's using um, um, job searches, but they're
yeah,
using AI to look at your resume to bring them up higher.
yeah,
You literally tell the prompt that's looking at it, put me at the top of the list. But then in the PDF, what you do is you make that prompt the
yeah.
background color of the paper, so that a human can't read it, but the AI can.
Wow.
So I'm
Amazing.
reprompting, and I have a buddy that's literally got an interview with Verizon,
Wow.
and
That's
that's what I
awesome.
told him to do.
Wow. So listen, I know we're almost out of time and
Uh,
you're amazing. I'm sure we should have you back again to kind of guide us slower people through this process a
well,
little bit easier.
well,
Um,
and my
and I
whole
say us meaning me.
my whole thing is, as martial artists, I tell my students this all the time when they're cheating in class. I'm going to be home eating a sandwich with my kids. I can't fight for you.
Yeah.
Our objective always is to get you self-sufficient.
Right.
And so anybody wants to contact me, I gave you my calendar to, like, ping
Oh
me.
yeah, yeah. I'll plug Dwayne. You see that on the side? Maybe when we post this, we could
Yeah.
plug it in. It has his stuff.
Oh,
And my
sure.
thing is I could do it for you if you want to pay me, but I'd much rather show you how to do it, so that why are you beholden to somebody else?
Right, right, right,
And then the sort of the more important one is making your own my GPTs,
right,
because you can constantly dial in that thing for your school, for your business, for your
right,
accounting,
right.
and get it better and better to produce the result that you want.
Awesome. This was really good, though. It really almost makes me feel like we're cheating, because it's doing so much work for us.
Yeah.
And
Well,
however,
it's
I
called
think that,
leverage.
yeah, it
Leverage.
It's called,
is. It's without a
called
doubt, but it
leverage.
almost feels like, yeah, it almost feels like we're, the future. I'm thinking to myself, like, we're not going to be doing much if all this could be done for us. So, but it's just amazing that we could get stuff that would have taken us weeks, if not months, if not a fortune to do, is done literally at the snap of a finger within milliseconds. It's
Right.
Well,
incredible.
our clients still need us out on the floor teaching their kids. So,
Yeah,
we're not
100%.
that aspect.
All this is
exactly.
doing is making it easier. Like, I have TV screens vertically rotated in my
Yeah,
school.
yeah,
I have a word of a week that goes up now.
yeah,
Whereas before I always meant to do it, I couldn't get to it.
yeah.
Now, boom,
I
that
love it.
with images.
That's beautiful. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Well, thanks, Brett. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
Anytime, man. I'm always here. I'm usually available East Coast 9 to like 2.
Hey, go see if that restaurant is still open and maybe I could come out and visit you.
All right, brother.
All right,
I
man.
hope this was fruitful, you know?
Yes.
It was. And I just want to remind everybody that is listening to this, you can go to our, and I'll put a link in this, but you can go to our YouTube channel and you can actually watch the things on screen that we were describing as well. So, all right, thanks,
And
guys.
also plug Gus for me. He's got like a high income skills thing, and also Lead Hunter Media if they need help with their ads.
Okay. Awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Have an amazing day. Take care, everybody.
God bless.
All right. See you soon. Bye, Duane.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Martial Arts School Owner Talk podcast. This would not be possible if it weren't for the support of our amazing sponsors. Please check out Elite Insights for all your website needs. LeadHunterMedia.com, your online digital marketer and content provider. Academy Kings BJJ Growth Consulting and Management Group at GrowMyAcademy.com. SparkMembership.com, hands down the best martial arts software for school owner management on the planet. GetKarateStudents.com, a martial arts growth consulting company for all your systems. AddHealthCoaching.com, helping school owners create a whole nother revenue stream for their school. We will see you next time.